So this isn't the sort of video I normally make. Normally my YouTube channel is just for uploading what I do on Twitch. But I read something about an hour ago which really dug deep into my heart, and I feel that I need to say something about it. I've looked on YouTube and I've not seen any videos about this, and considering all the controversy with the Yogscast over the last couple of days, I feel that there should be a video to explain to everyone what exactly is happening. So in the unlikely event that anyone watching this actually doesn't know who I am, I'm Blue Kayfabe, and I just stream with my friends on Twitch, just video games, whatever. And part of the reason I do this is because a very, very, very long time ago, I was a big fan of the Yogscast, and they got me into this whole YouTube, Twitch, sphere as such, and all this internet life, I suppose. I've been a fan of them for years, nearly a decade, I want to say. If anyone in the Yogscast community at the moment would know, there's a lot of controversy going around considering inappropriate behaviour, I want to call it. Yeah, it's not good, and it really tugs at my heartstrings seeing this, because especially someone in particular I'll speak about later is probably one of the main inspirations for me to start all of this. But the best thing to do would just be to start at the beginning, I suppose. And it started on July 5th with there was a Reddit post talking about one of the Yogscast members, Cafcast, who was very small, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. He was just mainly a Twitch streamer under the Yogscast banner, and he got revealed that he was suggesting to hire certain women to the moderator team, even if they were unsuitable for the role, but the only purpose for this was to flirt with them and get a relationship, a very inappropriate relationship with them, and that was the only intention. It wasn't for the benefit of the company or his streams. It was just sheer lust, I think is the best way to put it. And since that happened, the whole community and the Yogscast in general has gone into a massive shitstorm, is the best way to put it. And to be honest, it's sort of good in a way. As soon as I have this checked, they're starting to check other things as well. And because Lewis always talks about having a very high code of conduct, which is very important, which fair play to him. He stepped up and he put out his email, so if anyone who's had problems with this sort of thing in the past, they can contact him, they can talk to him about any issues they've had with any members of the Yogscast, which is very good. I can't commend him enough for it. But it's the fact they only found out now, and it's been a while that this all has happened, and because of this, as I think I mentioned, they're starting to check everyone to make sure everyone is sticking to their code of conduct and their ethics, which is great. But they have uncovered others which are much higher within the organisation, which actually will make a difference to them and will actually impact them in a way. So before I continue, I'd just like to make it abundantly clear I didn't particularly like Caf. I never found him particularly entertaining. That was just simply my opinion. Nothing against him, but I just didn't. But the two people in particular I'm going to talk about now, I was a fan of, and it does. I've watched them for far longer, so it does sort of mean something in a way. The next person I'm going to talk about would be Terps, who was CEO of the Yogscast, and he just yesterday actually he stepped down from the role because of all these checks. He's being found to have sent inappropriate messages to certain people, we don't actually know at the moment what these messages contain and how bad they are, I suppose. But this is all from a Reddit post that Terps made himself. So it's only the information he has given us is what we know. And from the Reddit post, it doesn't seem too bad. Yes, it would have been inappropriate, but I don't think they are on the levels of something that will come up in a short while. But he's chosen to step down of his own accord, which is good of him. I can't knock him for that. If he's done wrong, he's owning up to it and he's stepping down from the role. Fair enough, I can't knock him for that. Obviously it's bad him doing it in the first place, but at least he's, admitting his fault in a way by owning up to it and choosing to step down. He could have kept it quiet, and I'm sure the rest of them at the organisation would have kept it quiet because he was such a fundamental role with brand deals and talking to other companies about getting games and reviewing games and sorts. So he was very instrumental in organising a lot of shit. So the fact that he stepped down is really probably fucked them up behind the scenes, and at least he stepped up to his actions. But the main topic and the big one I wanted to talk about, and the reason I'm making this entire video, is because a couple of years ago there was some allegations against the second biggest Yogscast member and the one who started it for me, the one who got me into YouTube and everything. That would be Yogscast Jin. A couple of years ago there was some rumours and controversy that he had relationships with underage girls, I think, or it was speculated he had relationships with underage girls. Now, right off the bat, that sounds horrendous, which, if true, is unforgivable on every fucking level. But it was investigated a couple of years ago, and it was, the case was thrown away because it was just baseless. There was no evidence or no substantial evidence. There was a couple of angry people on Reddit, but there was no sufficient evidence, is what I'm trying to say. I do want to make it clear again that I am one in the whole community, because from everything I've read, everyone's in the very similar position to me, where they're all fucking praying he hasn't done it. We all of us pray he hasn't, because he's been such a fundamental and one of the best members in the Yogscast by far, and we none of us want to see him go down at all. And it's because of all this with Calf and Terps, people are bringing this story back, and they're bringing other Reddit posts that haven't been looked at in a while, and they're getting re-reviewed as such under today's circumstances. And I've had a look at them myself, and from what I can gather, in a very shortened way, I'm going to say that the evidence shows that he was acting creepy, yes. Manipulative, yes. But there was no evidence of actual wrongdoing. He was flirting with people above age, and that is confirmed while he was still dating Minty, which, again, absolutely wrong. But he didn't actually do anything wrong, especially not with the underage stuff, which is the big problem here. But it's because of the flirting with that other girl, the main Reddit post, who apparently had just turned 18. It was speculated that he might have been talking to girls under that age, because it was such on the borderline, if that makes sense. There was quite a few people suggesting that he did, but there is no evidence for it whatsoever, and so most people don't believe it until there is more sufficient evidence, I think is the best way to put it, and none of us hope he has. But it was revealed in that same Reddit post that she also feels incredibly bad because she's the one who instigated it in a way, and Shin himself is a very insecure person, which led him to, as soon as he got this attention, and he's still quite new to the fame, the YouTube fame, as it is, he acted on these in as almost like an ego boost, is what most people are speculating, including the Reddit poster, if I'm correct, which I'm absolutely willing to be corrected if I'm wrong, but from what I gather, that's what it is. And you feel but kind of bad for him in a way, because if you feel that insecure that you would cheat on your significant other with apparently multiple people, apparently, I don't want to come out right and say yes or no. Apparently there are a few he talked to, which is why people are worried that he was with underage girls, because it was a lot of the fans of the Yogscast are in their teens. I'm a rare breed where I'm past my teens and yet I still watch them. Go me. But it's none of us want him to have done this. Shin's one of the best. He simply is. There's no one like him. I'm not surprised reading from it that he had insecurity issues. You can sort of almost get that vibe, especially from his earlier days. Back in the old Tech It days, he was very quiet. He only talked when talked to. He wouldn't ever pipe up without permission as such. It was like, you could tell in Lewis's voice, it was Shin was only talk when Lewis wanted him to talk. And mentioning Lewis, on that same Reddit post, she wasn't actually mad at Shin at all. She was mainly mad at Lewis, because she was speculating that Lewis was protecting him, using the company to protect him against all of this and hiding all of this truth, apparently, which I don't know is true. There is absolutely no evidence for this. It's just her word, and if she had proof at all that Lewis was hiding all this and trying to keep Shin up, because obviously Shin is such a big member. He's the second biggest after Lewis and Simon themselves. He has to be, he's a massive source of income and production for them. They can't lose him, or it'll be such an incredibly huge hit for them that it'll be devastating. So I could understand why they do it. It's still wrong that they do it if that is the case, but we don't know that if that is the case. And in offense, I am probably making this video a bit premature because we don't know the results, because the investigation on Shin has only been announced today. Terps resigned yesterday. It's all still very, very new. I plan to make a video in the future when all this has been, don't say resolved, because I don't think it will be, but when more information has come to light as such, just so we know more about what's going on, because I and no one else in the community wants this. We don't want to lose Shin. I mean, it was horrible to lose Terps, and I think he could have stayed, depending on the context of those messages he sent and how bad they are. I think he could have stayed. It still would have been bad and wrong that he had done it, but I don't think it would have been, from what I gathered, completely, this is my own theory now, I don't think it was bad enough for self-resignation, depending. It is a massive shame that all this has come to light. I still see them as, childish Minecraft YouTubers. I can't imagine them doing this horrible shit, to be honest, and it is heartbreaking. It really is. Yeah, that's all I can think to say at the moment. I hope you guys were more informed of what's going on, and I just want people to know of the situation and don't want to instantly assume the shit about Shin, mainly. Because obviously as I made it very clear, I don't think he had relationships with underage women. I think he is a cheater, a bit of a creep, that he fucked up massively. Yes, absolutely, but I don't think, criminal charges level, I don't think it's that bad. I really hope not, at least. So yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.